Good morning and welcome to Andrew's Sandwich. Today we're walking from Devil's Hole on Jersey's north coast to Corbière Lighthouse on Jersey's southwest coast. So here we go. Here we are on Jersey's north coast. In the distance you can see Sark, Guernsey, and that's the Paternosters Reef, and down below us is the viewpoint for Devil's Hole. Just in front of us we have Île-aux-Bois, which is a small rocky island just to the east of Grève de Lec, Crabbe, and to the west of Devil's Hole. It was in the past used as some sort of monastery or something. There was buildings on it. Now it's become detached from the mainland. Here we have in the distance Sorrel Point, French Normandy headland on the horizon, Cap de la Hague. Right on the horizon to the north is Orkney, Paternosters, Sark, Chetu, Guernsey, and then Plymouth Headland. Once we get round this short headland in front of us, we'll be into Grève de Lec. And here we are now, dropping down into Grève de Lec. You have to come off the cliff path at the top of this hill because it's a rifle range. Have Grève de Lec barracks. Again, Napoleonic barracks to house the garrison that were defending the north coast of Jersey from French invaders. There's now a number of houses, a couple of little pubs, and a couple of cafes down on the beach. A cafe here, public toilets as well. So when we walk out of Grève de Lec to the west, we come up a steep little footpath and we just drop onto a road section. Again, to the western side of Grève de Lec is a shooting range, so you have to make sure you stick to the footpath. It's well marked. We do walk through some residential areas, so just respect people's property, and then it won't be long and then we'll just drop back onto the cliff path again. And here we are now on the western side of Grève de Lec, heading towards Plymouth. This section is where you can spot puffins when they're in the season. We only have a couple of pairs, so if you do spot them, you're pretty lucky. You'll also see razorbills, things like that. Maybe you can spot dolphins. Come the summertime, they'll be around and about, so this is a good spot. There's also a dolmen Neolithic dolmen just to the south of this footpath. I believe it is marked. We won't go and see it today. Maybe we can do that in another video. Here we have Plemore Bay. On the low water, a golden sandy beach will be here. Of course it's high tide at the moment, so it's covered. We've got a car park and a small cafe here. There's a car park at the top of the hill. The one at the bottom of the hill gets quite busy, so it's always best to park at the top. Very popular in the summer. Next stop will be Groenay Castle, out to the west. And here we are on Jersey's most northwesterly point. We've got Plemore Bay. Right in the back we've got Sorrel Point. Panning across Paternoster Reef. In the distance we've got Sark, and then Guernsey. You can see St Peter Port, that white sort of patch. Groenay Headland Lighthouse, and then Groenay Castle. So this area of Jersey is called Leyland, and it's right up on the northwest point. And here we have Groenay Castle, or what remains of it. It was built on the 14th century to defend from the French and invading forces, but unfortunately didn't have a well, so it didn't take much for the sieging invading forces to sort of break down the morale of those that were outside the castle. But it ended up getting demolished and the granite used to build houses and farms and things like that. So now we'll go on to Jersey's west coast. We'll have some more German fortifications here, so we'll have a look at them when we get to them. So here we are, first couple of German fortifications. So we have anti-aircraft. We then have one of the 3 fire control towers. So these towers be used for getting range and bearings on vessels, and between the 3 towers they could calculate distance to allow the artillery and the guns on the west and northwest coast of Jersey to fire upon vessels, allied vessels sort of transiting the area. But Jersey was so well defended between the guns in Jersey, Guernsey and Alderney, everything that passed around the Cherbourg Peninsula, Bay of Mont Saint Michel, had to remain quite far out into the English Channel. These bunkers are all now closed up, so there's no access to them. Some of them in Jersey you can get into, but these ones you can't. Got gun emplacements down there. the gun emplacement for the tower to defend the entrance of the tower here. Ventilation shafts. Again, everything's blocked up and cemented up. And below us you can just make out some old guns. So at the end of the occupation, a lot of guns were just dumped over the side of the cliff here, and just at the bottom of the cliffs you can just make them out. Again, the first of the towers. We have another fortification. You can see, just make out bullet marks. An old friend of mine used to live in this area during the occupation, and he talked about often Allied aircraft coming back from patrolling the channel, come across and pop a few shots at the Germans in their bunkers and get them running back in. The Jersey in itself didn't see any warfare. I think the Allies knew that it wasn't worthwhile invading the island and risking the local population, so they would just keep clear. And here we have the first of the few gun emplacements that are located on the northwest of Jersey. This one has become overgrown. Still got access into it. Here's one that's been dug out. Here we have one of the guns that was actually positioned out by Corbière, to the east of Corbière, and actually exploded. The shell exploded in the barrel of the gun, so it was replaced and dumped at Corbière. Then after the war it got found as they were developing the area, and they decided to dump it here. Again, this fortification, yeah, you can get into it, but there's better preserved ones elsewhere. So here we have a couple of the guns that were recovered from below the cliff that we saw earlier. They were lifted, I believe, by helicopter and placed here. And in the background we've got another piece of artillery, German artillery. This complex here is actually Kestrel. This area is actually part of the Channel Island Occupation Society's museums, so occasionally this is open to the general public. It's quite a good museum. You can pop in, have a look around. Some of it's been rebuilt and remade to how it was in the occupation. And here we have original gun, but the rest of it The wheels are original, but the rest of the carriage is repurposed and remade. Right, next bit is to drop down into Swans Bay, where we'll finish sort of our walking along the bay. We'll stop for a bit of lunch, and then we'll get to Corbière and maybe get a pint. Here we have L'Attaque. We're at the top end of Swans Bay. You see the plastic that's just gone down on the potatoes for the Jersey Royal new potatoes. This corner of the island, this right up in this northwest corner, is some of the best potatoes. All the locals will come up here to get them. And then we have the expanse that's Swans Bay, and in the distance Corbière Lighthouse. Right, so here we are at L'Attaque, and it's lunchtime. So today in Andrew's sandwich we have got pesto, cheese, salami, rockets, and like a chorizo spicy ham. So Andrew's sandwich. Here we have L'Attaque, another German fortification. This one's been turned into a fish merchant's Vivieres. Funny enough, there used to be a Napoleonic tower, Martello Tower on this site, but then when the Germans arrived, they knocked down the tower and placed one of their defence bunkers in the area. So this is L'Attaque. This is where we had lunch. So here we are walking down the west coast of Jersey in Swans Bay. We'll start seeing Napoleonic towers alongside German fortifications, and you'll see the Germans put in place an anti-tank wall. As we walk up, you'll see various German machine gun posts and fortifications. Here we have a French tank gun that was used. The Germans would use them to fortify the bunkers. Actually, we're standing on top of the Channel Island, the Occupation Museum. It's really good. It's closed at the moment, but well worth a visit. A wealth of knowledge and information there. So we've got a big tide at the moment, so it's pulling out quite nice. Again, L'Attaque, where we came from. New builds. And then heading towards Corbière. And here we are at Le Rocco Tower. The tide drew away nicely, so we could access it. So Le Rocco Tower, again, is a Napoleonic defence against the French invading from the west. Martello Tower. It was destroyed during the Second World War. During the occupation, the Germans used it as target practice from the guns at Normal Point. But yeah, it would house a garrison. Defend the bay. Would have been stuck out there for a while because the spring tides only come through every 2 weeks to access it in and out. But yeah, unfortunately the wind was a bit strong for this one. on the camera microphone, so did the audio over the top. Here we are looking out to the west of the Lorico Tower into the Bay of St. Ones. But yeah, it was rebuilt after the occupation. And here we are at Le Poulant now. Again, the audio is playing up on this one. So, yep, so you can see Lorico Tower in the middle of the bay, at the top end of St. Ones Bay in the distance. This bay is the final little corner before we get round this headland to Corbière. This is Petit Port, at the last little sandy bay. You can access this by car. Nice little bay to swim in. It does get a bit rough, so just have to be careful. But nice little hidden bay here. And then the next stop will be round the corner, Corbière.